This is Ash. He's a Russian blue, and in the however many years of him appearing on this channel, he has never once been properly introduced. Now Ash doesn't really go out of his way to be noticed. While the other cats might be busy trying to get into things or screaming for a snack, he's usually just incredibly composed. Honestly, he's probably the most stable personality in this entire place. And I think spring is a good time to finally change that. People ask if Ash is a purebred Russian blue, and honestly I don't know for sure. I adopted him because his previous owner needed to find the litter homes quickly. One of their other cats had a possibly contagious skin condition. They wanted to move the kittens out before the litter became infected. His mother was a documented purebred Russian blue, but his father was a gray cat that had no paperwork. Without those certificates, he wasn't quote-unquote official, but he still needed a place to live. Back then, he was just a timid, blue-eyed gray kitten who eventually grew into those green eyes. Eight years later, does Ash fit the Russian blue profile? Well, he has every trait you would expect from the breed. So 8 years in, let's actually review him. After a long winter, things in a small apartment can get pretty stagnant. And from time to time, I like to bring out the cats for some sensory enrichment. Not exactly a walk, but a chance to take in different sights and smells. The snacks being ignored tells you everything you need to know where his head is. He's not hungry, he is processing. There's just too much information coming in at once, and food is not the priority right now. And he's always been like this. New environment or new anything, he needs some time before he decides how he feels about it. And I learned early on not to rush him. He gets there on his own schedule. To be honest, I expected him to stay in there. Russian blues are cautious, and Ash is the most routine-oriented cat I have ever lived with. I figured he would just watch things from the safety of his cat carrier. That look is just him checking in. It looks like over the last 8 years he has clearly become more confident. He was the most reserved out of my 4 cats. He would observe guests from a distance and let the other cats approach while he stayed somewhere safe to assess the situation. But in these past couple of years, he has become a bit of a people person. Now he is often the first one there to greet them. A guest sits down and Ash is already moving toward them before the other cats have even decided how they feel about this new person in the room. And I don't know what exactly changed. He is older, so you might expect him to be more cautious, not less. Maybe 8 years of a stable environment finally settled something. Maybe it's just Ash deciding on his own schedule that he is ready. And that would be very like him. He's definitely looking for the high ground. And this is exactly what he does at home. He finds the highest spot in the room, sits where he can see everything, and just watches. He waits for you to be in his approved zone, and usually that means sitting at the kitchen table or on the sofa. And once you're there, he moves in with his quiet determination. He's very predictable about it. He's also the authority in the apartment, and this usually surprises people. Latte is a Bengal. Latte instigates, pushes, and tests every boundary on a rotating schedule. The only cat who genuinely puts him in his place is Ash. Sometimes it's just a look, and sometimes it goes further. A swat or a brief wrestling match that Ash ends on his own terms. Latte backs down every time. Russian Blues are not aggressive, but they will assert themselves when necessary. Taking care of an 8-year-old Russian Blue is mostly the same, but with some slight differences. That double coat is thick and dense. In a small apartment, it gets on everything. Brushing helps a lot, and Ash tolerates it well. He just sits through it with the same quiet composure he brings to everything else. Dental health is a thing I pay more attention to now. Russian Blues are predisposed to dental issues, and Ash is no exception. Regular brushing, yearly checks, not his favorite part, but he gets through it. When he was younger, he was extremely food motivated. If I let him, he would probably be double his current size. I manage his weight with a strict meal schedule and regular activity. In a small apartment, that is the only way to keep him lean. He has stayed at a healthy weight his whole life, which matters more now for his joints than it did when he was 2. And since he's 8 now, he doesn't move with the constant energy he had as a kitten, but he still regularly plays. And when he does move, he has that explosive quickness that Russian Blues are known for. As usual, Ash decided when it was over. If you're considering a Russian Blue for an apartment, especially a small one, with other cats maybe, the loyalty and the subtle authority is very real. He is one of the easiest cats I've ever lived with, and he shares an apartment with a Bengal, and I think that puts it in proper context. Now if you're curious how I keep all 4 of my cats active and engaged in a small apartment, click this video on screen. I'll see you over there.